Okay, last night I got everything hooked up. I got the injector pumps and everything, the injector pump injectors all set up here. Everything's on. Injector pump, lines, new filters. That fuel pump seemed to be okay, so I left it on there. And I am having a little trouble with my tachometer, but I started it up last night. I didn't videotape it because, well, I'm not sure. I wasn't sure whether it was going to go. I didn't want to show a fail. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I have no radiator in there or anything. But what I am going to do is I'm going to start it up. Now, I had some lifter issue. The lifters on this engine are different than the lifters that were in the old engine. So I had to use the push rods out of this particular block to fit this head. They were just different for some reason. The lifters were different. So anyways, I haven't adjusted the rocker arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if it'll fire off here. I did just a little bit of starting fluid there, a little bit of throttle, and we'll see what happens. It isn't running very well. Probably because the rocker arms are not closing the valves all the way. It's puffing and smoking and carrying on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull that valve cover back off of there. I just wanted, if there was any dirt or anything down on those lifters, I wanted it to work its way out and seat into the rocker arms before I adjust them. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to just pull the valve cover off and go find a feeler gauge, and then I'm going to adjust them real quick. So that's what I'm going to do now. Well, I've got the valve covers off, and as you can see, I don't know if you can or not, this thing's popping and snapping because one, either the intake is not open. Well, I know the intake isn't opening fast enough. There's quite a bit of play here on that intake valve, and the exhaust is depressed, so it's not getting any compression, and it's firing. That's what all that smoke is about. So what I'm having is the gaps are really off on these. Some of them are tight up against there, but that's just because, oh yeah, this thing here, there's no gap at all. So what I have to do is find my feeler gauges, which God, I haven't used them in so long, I don't even know where in the heck they're at. I know one needs to be, well, I've got a book here, my IT shop manual, INT shop manual. They're really pretty good. I just bought it for this tractor. I had one for a 4020, but when I sold my 4020, I gave them the book and forgot that it did 4010, 4020, and 5010, 5020 tractors. So anyhow, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in search of my feeler gauges and find out what the gaps are on that. Shouldn't be that hard to figure out. I think I got a feeler gauge set in here. I don't know. But I'll look for that, and then I'll start gapping those, and then we'll fire it up again, and we'll see what she looks like. Okay, I just completed adjusting these rocker arms here. Yeah. I'm going to run through and do it again. I just did it rough. My feeler gauges, I found them, and I can't tell the thickness of the feeler gauge. So it's kind of a, you know, just a rough guesstimate. I think I got it pretty close. So, I mean, they're really kind of tight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire it up, and I'm hoping that I don't need any starting fluid here. But here we go, ready. Wow. Much better. It's still blowing some smoke there. It's cold. It's cold today. Oil's pumping good. there's more than one way to adjust these rocker arms, but if they were hydraulic lifters in there, then you'd have to adjust them while they were running. But because they're solid, you just kind of run through and get it to, you know, where the cylinder, where they're both closed, and then you go ahead and you know, get your feeler gauge in there and you loosen up the nut, and then you adjust it that way. So what I'm going to end up doing is I got to go down to the auto parts store and pick up a couple of belts, because the belts that I have, they've really worn out, and I'll just buy a new set of feeler gauges. I need what do I need? 0.018 and 0.028. That's what I need. So I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna get a pair of these belts, because they're just cracked and worn. I don't want to put them in there that way. So anyways, I'm gonna do that, and then I'll be back. Alright, just getting ready to put the rad in. I got the cowling fan and the cowling I put on. I got my valve covers back on there. Everything is adjusted properly. Before I go ahead and put that rad in there, I have to hook up my oil pump, because I got the new fan belts and stuff on there. I really don't want to screw that up. So, because if I put that rad in there, it turns into a pain in the neck to get anything done. So I'll put that on there real quick, and it just consists of this gizmo here. There's 2 bolts, a couple of nuts. It goes on there like that. Well, that's just 1/2. But I'll get that on there, and then I'll put the rad in. Alright, there it is. Just fired her up. Took a little bit of starting fluid, and boy, she runs good.